welcome to Mindful Makers, a show that thrives on sharing tools that empower you to live an informed and enriched life. I'm Sahar, your host of the show, and if you're one of the followers who voted for us to switch it up and move this podcast over to video, you'll be happy to know that this episode can be viewed wherever you enjoy your podcast. My guest on this week's show is a man who has helped to reshape many in their health journeys through the power of cellular hydration, as well as spiritual and holistic practices. Now, when I say cellular hydration, you might be thinking, what on earth is she on about? But bear with me, because you're in for a treat. When I first started looking into this topic, I had no idea about the magnificent wealth of life-changing information that was waiting for me. I'm sitting here with Dr. Victor Mateuță, a man who merges science and human potential, harnessing ionized water, light, and ice therapy for profound wellness. Victor is super passionate about sustainable living and nurtures a conscious community in the UAE, guiding them through immersive practices and experiences that encompass ice therapy, mindful breath, and the rejuvenating power of living water. Hi, Victor.
Good morning, Sahar.
Hello, welcome to the show. It's so lovely to have you on here.
Thank you so much. I am super excited.
So, in order to kick off, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what attracted you to working with ionized living water and what the catalyst was from your life before discovering this amazing water.
Wow, that's a very deep question, because never had an idea why I'm always attracted to waters. I always find myself going alone, even when I was a child, around the rivers, around the small little ponds. That was my most spiritual connection since I was a child. The water and the nature. So I grew up in Romania, and I was passionate about animals. My animals were my best friends. And growing up, I developed a very strong attachment to birds, first to pigeons and then to falcons. They are the highest spiritual possible animal. They choose when they want to leave this world as well. It's a very powerful connection with them. And studying veterinary, because that was the only thing that it can get me as close as possible to the nature, being able to give back and help those little animals that they cannot speak. I came to be the ambassador of my country, representing the world of falconry, protecting and helping the birds of prey. And I came in Dubai about 8 years ago, and that was my full journey as here. I came by the wings of the falcons, and it was incredible years. I was privileged to work with the brother of the president of the country and the top families in UAE. I was saving falcons that they were critically injured, and I would repair their legs and give them a second chance and compete with them in the race and get top 10 positions. It was an amazing time. I love every single part of it. And I was doing that for about at least 4 years when something started to wake up inside me. I was feeling that something is somehow missing, and I didn't understand what it is. I feel sometimes drained. I feel that I love to be with the falcons, to go every day in the morning in the desert, to fly the small little airplanes and falcons are chasing and go back home together. I was missing something. And what was the catalyst was listening to the speeches of Tony Robbins. Are you aware of Tony Robbins?
Yes, I'm aware with
it's a massive inspiration. And he was talking at some point about having a purpose in life, about giving as much as possible. And then it was like a strike for me, like a thunder. It's like, okay, that's a very interesting question. Now I understand why I feel so unsettled, even if I have everything what somebody can have.
You were searching for your purpose.
Yes.
And did you not feel like you'd found it through working with the falcons who you were so passionate about and becoming a vet?
That's what I felt at that point. I was imagining even in my 80s being with the falcons and doing endoscopies and traveling around with the royal family. But I didn't understand that was just a chapter.
So where was the next chapter leading you?
Listening to Tony Robbins and was telling all this about purpose, I was thinking, I said, like, what would happen? What would be the scenario? If 50 years down the line from now, I would look back, what did I do? I helped some falcons, but those falcons, I helped them especially for spirit of the competition, of showing who's better than other, but not really giving back to this planet. And I was always being compassionate and hurt when I see everywhere the animals are being endangered because of the plastic, marine animals as well. And I always wanted to do something about that, and I didn't know what. So I just planted in the universe a seed of manifesting something that I can give much more to the planet, that I can actually make a huge footprint. When I'm not here anymore, people can benefit hundreds of years from what I leave behind in this life. And soon enough, always, when you plant a seed in the universe, it comes back faster than anything. Imagine I was not having any contact except the Emiratis in here. I was with them the whole time. I was in the farm in Kangen. And somehow a family from Romania came and they contacted me, as they knew that I'm a very successful doctor in Dubai, because they wanted to present to me something special from Japan. And I said, okay, I'm fascinated about Japan. I'm fascinated about all their culture, the fact that they live over 100 years old, and such a huge tradition with the martial arts. And I said, I want to know more. And they came in the farm and they brought this little white device that they called it a water ionizer. And they told me that this water is very special. And I was wondering, okay, water is water, right? I did 12 years of school, being a doctor, and I had a PhD as well. And I never heard about this kind of concept. And I said, water is water. And then they installed that little machine on the top. It took only 30 seconds. And they showed me some experiments that blew my mind. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
Right.
And then I realized that water is not the same.
All water was not created equal.
The water can have many forms and meanings, and it's incredible what it can do for your body when it's the right water.
Okay.
And it was like a spark inside me. So something started to wake up, a new feelings, a new energy that I didn't feel before. And I started learning and researching. And when I went to Google Scholar, I found out that there are over 16,000 medical articles studying the ionized water.
Wow.
So studies coming from helping to get rid of kidney stones, diabetes, and especially when prolonging life. So science and studies proven that the cells, they are able to thrive, to survive a very long time while you are nourishing them with ionized water.
Right.
So that's how I started my journey. Once you took the first step, the stairs
the rest is
never
history.
stop. Yes.
That's fascinating. Could you describe to me the things that you saw with your own eyes that this water did, for example?
That would be the best way to show you.
I can see you've got some glasses lined up in front of us.
Yes.
And for those of you watching, I think Victor's about to launch into a science experiment in front of us.
But let's review it a little bit later on.
Okay, fine.
Let's keep a little bit the excitement out there. So don't miss the next part.
Okay, so whilst we eagerly wait for your experiment, tell me a little bit about what it is about this water that makes it different from bottled water, for example, because we have a lot of bottled water around us everywhere we go, and it seems to have become the norm these days. I personally have filtered drinking water from the tap at home because I'm aware of the amount of microplastics and chemicals that can go in bottled water if it is not kept well. But you tell me structurally what the difference between ionized water is, for example, when it comes to bottled water.
Beautiful question. Here we go. Imagine that you are in the mountain, you're hiking and you reach top of the mountain and you found a fresh spring. If you ever did that and you ever tasted that water, for sure you felt something different in your body. That you felt instantly revitalized, energized, really hydrated. And if you took that water back home with you in a bottle and you drank it after 2 days, the feeling was not the same. Have you wondered why?
I just thought maybe it went off. Maybe it just expired.
So what's happening? The water is considered to be a living organism. And imagine that our body, it's almost 70% water. If our body is a bottle, almost until the neck, it's all water. Imagine that. And the electricity that's inside, it's dictating how the energy in our body flows as well. How we make our connections, how fast we think, how well we think. Because the water helps the current to pass through. The same, the aura, if you're aware of the aura of the body, the energy field, the more electricity we have in our body, the more intense the aura, the more love and light we are able to expand around us. So what's happening? A natural water, when it's passing through hundreds of meters of mountain, there are many layers containing a lot of different elements, different minerals, but many metals as well, especially the mountain ones. But what's the most important is the electromagnetic field. So the one that actually gives the electricity, the power bank. So when the water is passing through all those layers in contact with all those metals, it's restructuring. So it's becoming naturally ionized.
Okay.
So in that process, when it's charged, the molecules of water, they group themselves in a hexagonal form. That means maximum 6 molecules linked together. And what that keeps that hexagon together is the electrons on every single link.
Okay.
And then it stays there for about 2-3 days. After that, like let's say the phone will lose the battery, the same the water, when it loses that charge, then they collapse.
Okay.
And moreover, like those magnets, if you ever play when you were young, the little magnet that attracts all the little metals around and becomes all like a conglomerate, the same happens with the water.
Right.
So it attracts and becomes massive, becomes huge molecule. So then we drink it, it's something heavy. So now the body needs to spend a lot of vital energy to break it apart and to charge it with our vital energy to be able to actually absorb it and transport it to our cellular level. Where when it's directly fresh, that perfect hexagon in a very tiny molecular structure, it's an instant hydration. It's an instant absorption. It was studied that it's exactly like love at first sight. It takes 29 seconds to reach through every single cell of the body.
Wow.
It's exactly the same what this water does when it's in that perfect shape.
The hexagonal shape, and where the molecules are smaller rather than clumped together and big.
Correct.
So I imagine when you talk about cellular hydration, the difference between it would be sort of this dead water, let's call it, the one that's been sort of sat there for a while that's not ionized or electronically charged, would be like throwing rocks through a sieve. The rocks don't get through. So basically the water cannot permeate the cellular level. It won't get absorbed. Whereas when it's ionized and it's charged, it's like pouring sand through a sieve. It nicely treacles down through the sieve, and it can go through the barrier of the cell quite easily and hydrate it. Is that a correct way of assuming visually what it would be like?
I couldn't say more beautifully.
Right. So thank you, by the way. So having that kind of water and having access to it means that we would need to either get water from a spring or have access to an ionizing machine, right?
That is the only way.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
unless we live exactly on the heart of the mountain where the water comes directly through us, otherwise it's impossible. Living in a place like Dubai or Los Angeles, or doesn't matter where the water is more than 2 days old, it's impossible to get that level of hydration and that energy charge back into our body. And the only possible way is to have a medical grade ionizer. And when I did all my studies, I could not find something not even close to the Japanese Okinawan company called Enagic, which Enagic comes from energy and magic.
Oh, and that's lovely. Okay, so we're talking about an Enagic ionizing machine.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we have to take a lot of care when it comes to our health. And it's about water, the main constituent of our body. And if you go and research out there, you'll find a lot of different kind of machines. And what you will observe that none of them is certified in any way. So Enagic is the only one in the world that is certified as a medical device. Even the Ministry of Health in Japan is backing them off. And so if they are behind, they were approving them as a device that can prevent diseases consumed long term. And that was 50 years ago.
Wow. So it's been around for quite a while. It's not
Yes.
something that's a new fad on the market.
Yes, correct.
It's really interesting you mentioned that about the difference in the machines, because from my research, I understand that not all ionizers were created equal, just like not all water is equal. So there can be a lot of sort of cheaper, more industrially made models out there that don't have good quality metal plates, because my understanding is that there are metal plates inside the machine that create this charge in the water in order to make it ionized and alkalized, right?
Yes, that's a good question. Because all it started about 100 years ago, where special waters like the one from Lourdes, the one from Zanzam, the one from Nordenau in Germany, they were studied for those special properties that the people claim to have healed from different diseases consuming the water. So what has been found in the lab is that all those waters, what they have in common is an abundance of molecular hydrogen, which is the main constituent when it comes to ionized water. There are small little bubbles that you even see them climbing up inside the water. And that's the one that is able to neutralize oxidation inside the body. And after that as well, in the 70s, a Nobel Prize was taken in Germany, proving that the body gets sick, especially cancer, where the body is acidic and doesn't get enough oxygen. So that's exactly what ionized water does. That molecular hydrogen absorbs, charges the red blood cells. Now the red blood cells, they are able to be magnetized, right? So to push each other to absorb the oxygen from the alveoli in the lungs and get it through all the body. That's why everybody who tries a sip of the ionized water, they will feel it directly, that their brain gets very fast hydrated.
That's very, very interesting. I don't have an ionizer machine yet, but I do have a little handheld molecular hydrogen portable machine that I bought while I was in London. And I've been using it for quite a while. And I can say that I personally have felt that it reduced quite a lot of inflammation. It increased energy levels. And when I did research into molecular hydrogen, listeners out there, you're welcome to do your research as well. And I highly encourage it, because there are tons of articles out there about the benefits of molecular hydrogen and plenty of science-backed information out there for you to read. But as Victor mentioned, the molecular hydrogen acts as an antioxidant. So, whether it's by an ionized machine or a molecular hydrogen portable machine, what you're essentially doing is creating water that is antioxidant, and therefore increasing, your recovery time if you're a sportsman. It does a wealth of things like preventing organ and cell damage, and it promotes better pH balance in your blood. Is that correct, Victor?
That's super correct. Very well informed.
So basically, you can influence your own body's power to heal and to recover by this vital essence that we drink every day. And I think that's fascinating, because we need water in order to live. And why not increase the quality of it in order to move in a better way in the world and show up as a better version of ourselves? It's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. I would really like you to show us please, the experiments that you want to take us through, because I think it's important that people see for themselves the effects of the water as well. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm always ready. Well, I would like to do an intro first. So how is the process of ionization? Because everybody is curious. So like, okay, ionizer, filter. It has a small little filter initially, but that's just to clean the water. The most important part is the titanium plates. So they are large plates, big like a huge iPhone, of the medical grade titanium coated with platinum. Platinum is double price than gold. It's made to protect those plates even 40, 50 years. So that ionizer will last you for your whole life. You only have to change the filter once a year and that's all. So there are 8 chambers of electrolysis. So the water follows the same principle like in the nature, layer by layer by layer. And those plates, they are charged, right? Plus and minus. So all the negative ions go on one side, all the positive go on the other side. So we have 2 different streams of acidic and alkalized.
Okay.
So we are drinking the one that is alkalized.
Okay.
So that's how the process works.
The process of splitting the water essentially and changing its structure creates acidic water and it creates alkaline water, right?
So it's simulating exactly what the nature does, like the airplanes were created after studying the flight of the falcons, aerodynamic. The same, these ionizers were created after studying the structure of the Earth.
Nice. Beautiful.
And I will show you exactly what's happening.
Let's do it.
In a moment. And the first experiment we are going to do, it's with betadine. Do you know what's betadine, right?
Yeah, it's the disinfectant, right? It's red. They use it on your skin when they want to cut you.
So betadine, you see the color of it? It's brown, right?
Yeah,
A lot of iron
like a
inside.
burgundy.
So it's made to rust. So it kills the bacteria by rusting, creating a rusting effect on the membrane. So that's how the germs are getting destroyed by the body.
Okay.
But in this case, we are going to consider the betadine like the oxidation inside our body. So all those free radicals, all that, the pain in the joints, cancer is the worst form of oxidation. So we imagine that this betadine is that oxidation inside the body.
Okay.
And when we drink water that it's in plastic or even glass, so water that is basically older than 2-3 days old after it's being produced, what's happening? It becomes browner and browner and browner. That means because the water is getting oxidized. So when it comes out of the spring, it's exactly like a fresh salad, like an apple. You cut in 2, in a couple of hours, it becomes brown. That's called oxidation. So the same with the water. In a couple of days after it's being produced, it's oxidizing. Yeah.
So for the viewers who are not watching on video, Victor just poured some of this antiseptic solution, which is red, into a glass and poured regular water over it. And it's gone a kind of black tea color is the best way I can describe it. It looks like black tea. And what he's about to do is do exactly the same by pouring ionized healing water over the same betadine solution.
Yeah.
And this is just a visual representation of what oxidation in our bodies would typically look like.
Correct. So now we have again the same amount of betadine and we will add this time the ionized water and watch carefully what's happening.
Okay, it's gone black tea color. Oh, no way. Okay, that's crazy.
So if you can even see the little molecular hydrogen bubbles, how they go around and
Oh my
they neutralize
God.
the betadine.
Okay, so what's just happened is it went a black tea color, but then it
Let's make everybody
rapidly
healthy.
went clear. It's just gone completely clear. I can't believe it.
So let's get back to the first one. So imagine that this is a person on his 50s, has a lot of pain in the joints, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, always headaches, always frustrated, a lot of negative energy because everything is rusted inside the body.
Yeah.
When they start to drink the ionized water, look what's happening.
So he's now pouring the ionized water on top of the previous one, which was the normal water, and it's just made it go completely clear. This is beautiful. So this is essentially representing that it can flush out the toxins, correct? So aiding our own body's natural ability to flush out the toxins from our body by penetrating whatever's there that needs to be flushed out, which I think is pretty amazing.
That is correct.
Wow,
I hope it makes sense to everyone.
Yeah, I think, well, seeing is believing.
So what's happening? Everybody's asking me after that, can I drink this betadine now? It's like, no, that's not the point. The point is that rusty brownish water that you've seen, it's all the oxidation inside the body, like let's say a joint that start to be having rheumatism, arthritis, a lot of pain. It's like, imagine a lot of rust over there.
Yeah.
So the water goes and starts to dissolve that rust.
Okay.
And now it's in your system. So when you go to the toilet, you'll flush everything
it out. It aids your body's own natural ability to detox.
Correct.
And by the way, kids, this is not an excuse for you to go out and put more toxins in your body because you're drinking ionized water. It's actually just a way in order to, like we said, harness your own body's ability to naturally detox. Okay, so next up we have another experiment.
Perfect. What we'll do in here, we'll prove the hexagonal structure I was telling you about. So here is the tea bag, right? Represents our body.
A dry tea bag, yep.
A dry tea bag. So when we drink regular water, that we cannot really absorb it, right? Whenever you feel a whole bottle of water, how do you feel? You don't feel a little bit bloated?
Yeah.
You jump around, you'll feel it. So almost 1 hour, the body struggles to make the water small again to be able to absorb it. And it's really, really hard. It takes out a lot of energy. I'm sure that if you're really thirsty and you come and you drink a lot of water, you feel directly a little bit mellow. Because the body now uses a lot of energy to absorb
process the water.
Correct. So you'll see what's happening when I use the ionized water, right?
So you've poured regular water onto the tea bag and it's still just basically watercolor. Yeah.
Correct. So
now you're pouring ionized water over it. Wow. It's gone a dark green color. It's like you're pouring boiled water in it. Can I touch the bottle and make sure it's not boiling? No, it's not boiling.
So look at that. Instant hydration.
Wow. So that basically also makes me think that it's helping you absorb the nutrients from whatever you eat in a much easier way as well by allowing access to breaking it down in that way. Is that correct?
That is correct. And one more thing before we finish, this is a very, very important one because nowadays almost everybody struggles with cholesterol and a lot of heart issues because the blood vessels are compacted with oil-based chemicals on the blood vessels on the colon. So we'll do a quick experiment. This is sesame oil.
And what's the sesame oil representing in this scenario?
Oh, sesame oil has the same consistency as the chemical sprayed on fruits and veggies.
Pesticides.
And also, correct, pesticides and then the cholesterol inside our body.
Okay.
So all those disgusting stuff that you see on the colon and on the blood vessels. So we'll pour in one of the glass. Yeah, so we have the oil that's now stuck in form of toxins inside our body.
So this is just a representation. It's not to say that that's what sesame oil is. We're just being symbolic here.
Thank you for the explanation. So I'll be adding regular water.
Water over oil. That's not going to mix, obviously. Yep. Okay.
You're correct.
Yep.
Not mixing.
I'm glad that my science lessons when I was younger paid off. Thank you. Thanks for putting me in school, Mum.
But now let's see what's happening if we add ionized water. What do you think it will happen?
Oh, crumbs.
Oil and water doesn't mix, right?
Don't tell me it's going to go purple or something crazy.
Are we having a bet here?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, wow. It's gone a milky color.
So
what's that? What does that mean now that it's gone milky?
On the top of the glass, there is no more oil. So it has been completely emulsified. So that's exactly what is going to happen in our body as well. All those toxins that we've been accumulating over the years, they will slowly start to get out of our system.
So it basically breaks them all down and allows them to leave our body, similar to what we did earlier with the other solutions.
That is correct.
Fantastic. Thanks for those experiments.
My pleasure.
Well, that was incredibly fascinating. And I can see now how the power of changing the structure of the water can benefit the human body. But also, I imagine the acidic water that comes out of the machine, you can do other things with. What would you do with the acidic water?
That's a really important one.
You wouldn't drink it, presumably.
A little bit you can time to time if you are struggling with the Helicobacter. It's
Okay.
being widely used by holistic doctors, so a small little shot in the morning.
But you'd need to be advised on that. You can't just go
Correct,
do it
correct.
yourself. Absolutely. Okay. But the rest you would use for what you just discussed?
Rest will be incredibly useful if everybody is using it in the air purifier inside the room, because we have spores of fungi everywhere. So mold is a serious issue. Everybody should be concerned about it, especially when they have a little bit of fatigue and they don't feel well. For sure, they are going to have a lot of mold inside their body. So the toxin is affecting them. And having that acidic water, it's called hypochlorous acid, we evaporate it in the room and it's able to neutralize. So if there is already too much humidity, we can use a dehumidifier to absorb it back.
Right. So it's
But
like
it's
a
important
natural...
to neutralize the germs.
So it's like a natural antibacterial solution.
Yes, we can use it as well to wash our whole house organically. You don't need any kind of chemicals. Eventually adding some essential oils, the ones that you like the most, will make a beautiful Go Green house.
That's music to my ears because my house is completely non-toxic and I've got rid of a lot of the chemical detergents, cleaning products, and I use natural products now. And it has actually been not that easy to find commercially on the market because a lot of the ones that are commercially available still have chemicals in them. They're just greenwashing it. So I think having access to making your own products is a very reassuring way of looking after your household as well.
Yes, you can make even the window cleaners and disinfectants for your hands. And the incredible one is the 11.5, right? The ones that we use to wash the chemicals out of our fruits and veggies. And we can create a laundry detergent out of it. People are spending a lot of money on laundry detergent, and imagine that is a huge saving and no more chemicals in our house.
You discovered this machine and are presumably working with Enagic in your daily life. Are you feeling like now you are more towards that purpose that you mentioned at the beginning of the show that you were looking for?
I totally am.
Okay.
Together with many other holistic healing practices. And what I was amazed about, I found recently a friend of mine did an astrology chart for me. And what I found was absolutely incredible. So according to how the planets were aligned when I was born, I came in this life, this time, to bring healing water in this world.
It was written in your stars.
It was literally my stars.
That's lovely.
That friend of mine didn't even know what I'm doing. And it was like, that's fascinating. Like, I mean, now I understand why it makes me so vibrant to do this project. Because living in Dubai, you are tempted to try many other things. There are a lot of opportunities.
Yes, we are very
Nothing
lucky.
else, what I tried, it did not work.
Mm.
The universe slapped me back every single time to come and do what I came here to do.
It also explains why you were always drawn and attracted to water from a very young age and found...
Yes, now I
peace
understood
around.
why.
So when it comes to your everyday life, I imagine, even though you are living your purpose, challenges come up, things don't go right, there are frustrations, and some of these not even ionized water can solve with the best will in the world.
Yes, the water cannot solve everything. And if we are about to take it from the most important aspects in our life, the first will be for sure the air and the breathing. Without air, for sure, we are extinct in a couple of minutes, all of us. Then the second one, I would say, is the way we think and our emotions. Because this is a massive one. And I study a lot of holistic ways of approaching this, of helping those around us now. And one of the best ways that I found is with creating gatherings, communities where people can talk, can get out what's inside their body. Another amazing thing to help people get out of their burdens is ice bath.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very beautiful ceremonies once a week where we start with a meditation, with a very powerful breath work that gets you in a different zone. You feel tinglings in your body. Some people get through their childhood memories. And after that, we activate with Qigong. So Qigong is a new thing that I embody lately. It becomes a part of me. And we charge the body, right? We make the lymph move because the blood is moving through the heart. The heart is the pump. But our lymph, which we have much more than the blood, it moves very slowly and become like an old pond. So by tapping different places, we activate the lymphatic system, so then it can flow. And on that mode, we go into the eyes, and then we get into the meditation in the eyes. And that is incredible. So whoever does that, it's never the same again. And after the eyes, we have another special way of getting them back to their self, something called Lucia light. So Lucia light is invented by a scientist in Austria that connects to your pineal gland through your optical nerve. So you close your eyes, and then you'll feel like in a kaleidoscope. You'll see all the colors, all the patterns. You'll have an astral travel. It's literally like a psychedelic trip without taking any kind of psychedelics. Just
I have
light.
done the Lucia light before and it was incredible. I did not think that shining a light on essentially with my eyes closed on my forehead could create that kind of experience, but it was phenomenal. So I can see how it would help to rebalance your energies during turbulent times. And for the listeners who are curious about Qigong and are not very familiar with it, definitely look it up because it's basically a Chinese healing practice that combines controlled breathing, gentle movement, meditation, and it promotes mental, physical, and spiritual health. And through the power of movement and putting breath work into practice and working with the energy force that you actually have around you, it has been known to create very, very favorable results. And for those of you who listened to episode 1 of this season, you'll notice that Jane also referred to Qigong as one of the practices that helps bring her health and wellness and balance in life. So definitely be sure to check it out. So, Dr. Victor, in order for you to overcome challenges, my understanding is that you use a wide variety of practices, not just one, and that brings you into a space of mindfulness and helps you show up as a better version of yourself. Is that right?
That is right. So I will get them all together under the umbrella of biohacking.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
biohacking
that
is
word.
a new term that collects all the special tools around the world to give us a better life. So when it comes to ionized water, to red light therapy and Lucia light and ice bath, everything is considered as a biohacking.
So Victor, that has been incredibly informative and I think has given me personally a lot of food for thought. But before we wrap up the show, I do like to ask my guests 2 questions, and I hope you'll stick around for them. My first question would be, what is the ultimate song that you would say describes the vibe of you at this point in time?
That's a lovely one. Are you aware of Alexia Shelung?
No.
She has a very beautiful music, more into shamanic.
Okay.
And my favorite song, it's from her. It's called The Power Is Now.
Is it lyrical? Is it
It's
lyrical?
like the power of love is here now.
Mm-hmm.
And the power of now is here now.
Present
And
moment
it's a
living.
beautiful song. Google it. You'll absolutely love it.
I'll definitely look it up.
Especially whatever is happening now in the world, everybody needs more love. And the love is the highest possible frequency. The more we think about love and we say this word, the more we are able to help those around us.
Beautiful. I'll be sure to look it up. Thank you for sharing that. And If you were to take one item from your life with you to the moon, what would it be and why?
To the moon.
Yeah, I'm sending you to the moon.
To the moon. Why would I go to the moon? I love Dubai.
You'll come back, don't worry.
Okay, if it's a short trip.
You'll be there for a while. It won't be like 2 hours.
All right. So if I'm going there for a while, then it's impossible to live without oxygen. How much I would love to take my ionizing machine with me. I guess will not serve me really.
Yes, it will. Don't worry. We'll create an atmosphere where you can. People on the show have taken all sorts.
I was thinking more about a portable oxygen concentrator as a backpack with a nice cool mask. And I would imagine already myself bouncing around. That would be a lovely feeling.
Let's assume that this spaceship is already equipped with that. So you're good. What else? Let's be luxurious here. You can take anything you want.
I will definitely take still my ionizer then.
Okay.
I stick to my life purpose.
Yes. Well, it's good to know that you're consistent. Victor, thank you for this rather educational and thought-provoking chat. Honestly, I can say if our listeners are anything like me, I'm sure they'll be inspired to go and research and look at their water resources in a completely different way. And it's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
It's my total pleasure to be here. And for all those that want to change their life and want to get their body to the next level, please reach out. I'm everywhere on Instagram, on YouTube. Just search for my name, Dr. Victor Mateuță. We are having centers from Enagic all over the world. We'll be able to give you for free the water to try it out, because the message is there to change your body, to change your water and change your life.
And to you, brilliant, open-minded and curious listeners, thank you for choosing to include us as part of your day and share these moments with us. I'm so grateful to have you as part of the Mindful Makers community. It means so much to us and the guests that come on the show. And if you'd like to know more about Victor and any of the topics he discussed, please check out the show notes for more details. And remember, be sure to subscribe, rate, review, or comment on the show, as it really helps to nourish this community. And if you're on social, remember to follow us at sourcia.edit and let the world of Mindful Makers become part of yours too. Until next time, stay open, stay mindful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.